So, welcome to our village, and this is the place we come to release our struggle with our humble humanity and our imperfection, right? And drop our pretense and take the next step in accepting and celebrating each small yes to life as we navigate the most challenging and amazing journey in the universe, human incarnation. John O'Donohue says, "May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within." And here, it's often easier to start with kindness towards others as a way of awakening the kindness towards ourselves. So we gather here to connect with each other at the deep level of our longing for life, for wholeness, for discovery and experience of our real self underneath our temporary human disguise. And we become interwoven as we step into this field together. We're not separate. It's not me versus you. It's us. We're each a thread woven together into a single tapestry here. There's a sweet mystery in the miracle of group consciousness. How when we surrender to oneness, our individual nature glows and dances at the same time. We become more who we are individually as we become more who we are together. So we're here today to experience the power of our positive intentionality, our vision, and our creative imagination. Right? And on this path, we understand that our imagination is a high form of consciousness. It's the conduit of communication between our higher self and our physical mind. We always have a choice. We can limit our perception to just our mind so that we close off vastness, or we can allow the vastness to touch us, and that's what we're doing here today together. So the main way we connect in the beginning as we gather is with some stillness. And the Pathward Guide tells us that stillness lies right alongside emptiness, right? And as human beings, we mistake emptiness for nothingness, when really emptiness is the creative emptiness of infinite possibilities. So as humans, because we have a mind, we struggle often to be empty, yet we can always become still, at least for a few moments, by allowing ourselves to want it. And we don't have to become perfectly still. There's no such thing, right? Just a little more still than a moment ago. Not by doing anything, but by aligning with our longing to experience our true nature. So I invite you to Gently soften your eyes and go inside. And going inside begins with a direction, yet enters a dimension. Already here. Already inside you, already inside me, just waiting for us to step into it. Just let the breath breathe you whatever way it wants to. Let your softest breath polish all those dusty thoughts from your heart mirror. Just like you breathe on a lens to wipe it clean. Longing lives in the heart. Visualize it now like an amazing ice crystal in the center of your chest. Let one hand come up and touch it. Feel the warmth of awareness soften the ice as it starts to melt into a little stream and flow. High up in the mountain of your being. As your longing flows downstream on its own, feel how it knows what it's doing and where it's going, even if we don't. Feel the comfort in this. Cultivating faith without knowing. Growing trust in life beyond what the mind can understand. As your longing continues to flow, feel it grow. As other parts of you also melt and flow. And all the little streams of being start to flow together. Gathering in energy, strength, purpose. Feel this growing longing moving through your heart now, like a mountain stream. Quiet, smooth, and calm. Yet ready to leap and dance at any twist and turn. Feel that there's nothing to do but to be carried in the life stream. Taking all the time in the world Slowly coming back to the circle, and yet leaving part of you there, flowing in that stream down the side of the mountain of life. Just having an experience of how held we are. There's a stream bed that's carrying us. When you're ready, bring your eyes to the screen and just drink in the faces here, real people. It's a safe place here. It's a good place to be. So I invite you just one at a time in no particular order, just to say your name and where you are on the planet. That's important. And just a few words about what you're noticing right now. What's going on right now for you? And anybody can begin.
Morning, everybody. I'm Judy. I'm from Toronto, Canada. Nice to see everybody here. Brian, hi, Jim. Hello, Dan. Brian, thank you for that. That was a really lovely guided meditation. And I'm feeling myself thinking about being flowing in a stream and carried with love and support, as opposed to the usual way I feel in life, which is like being powerlessly blown by the wind, directionless. So it's a surrender, but it's a different kind of surrender. So thanks for that.
Glad it's working, Judy. Glad to see you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Duncan. I'm in Portland, Oregon, in the States. And thank you. Beautiful meditation. And what's alive for me right now is also about surrender. And for me, it's the surrender of striving. You know, I've meditated for many, many years, and it's always been kind of an effortful thing, and to trust the flow of life and to trust the guidance and to really deeply let go while staying fully present is what I'm carrying into the new year. And that's my wish, my dream, my hope.
Beautiful. Glad to have you, Duncan.
I'm Frank, Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for that meditation, Brian. That really was sweet and peaceful. And I was on the river, in the river, of the river. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to have you, Frank.
Hi, my name is Kay. I'm in Durham, North Carolina. And I will add to my gratitude for that meditation, Brian, as always, very beautiful. I am feeling in the flow. I'm remembering the word faith. And I'm thinking about how important it is to remember that our imagination is our direct line to our true nature and source. So thank you. Glad to be here.
Good to have you, Kay.
Hi, my name is Sandy, and I'm calling from Minnesota. And I had some technical difficulties, and I missed your entire meditation, Brian. Just came in at the end, so I'll have to catch it on replay. But
Okay.
through the rest of the people, the rest of the group. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Good to see your smile, Sandy.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jim Walker from Red Lake, Ontario. Yes, Brian, I love the way you have with words. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. The way the words have me.
Whichever way it works, yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dan. I'm in Richmond. And yeah, very powerful meditation there, Brian. I like the analogy to the ice crystal high up in my being. That's and I'm just noticing, kind of allowing myself to be in that stream, how often I am really working hard to make everything be what I want it to be. And letting go is a difficult thing, but the right thing for sure. So thank you very much for that.
Good to have you here, Dan.
My name is Elisa. I'm connecting from Italy, and connecting to what Dan is saying is that I'm not a specialist of letting go neither. So I'm not sure. I was in the river, but I felt the longing. I felt so much the longing, and I'm very grateful to Brian for organizing this gathering here today on New Year's Eve, and to spend this time with you. I'm really so great to see you all.
Great to have you, Elisa.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Pam, and I'm somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm not sure exactly where I am this morning. I am recovering from COVID, and I feel still pretty bad. And I'm looking at myself like, yeah, you look bad too. So I feel like I'm in like 1 foot in and 1 foot out of what you're talking about, and I did miss the meditation. I will definitely look at that because I always appreciate that so much. I need to be here today. I'm definitely, struggling with letting go and being in the stream. I mean, I'm hearing things and I'm like, oh yeah, I know about that one. I'm trying to be there. And sometimes I am. And I'm kind of in the middle of that right now. Like part of me is pissed off and tired and mad about a few things that go on, like war and shit like that. And then there's another part of me that's opening up to the higher consciousness and God and spirit and all that. So I feel like I'm in the middle of that right now. Thank you, Brian. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you for bringing all of you, Pam. This is the place, right?
You can't help it.
All parts welcome here at any time.
Hi, I'm Esther from Massachusetts, and I'm too am recovering from COVID. And So it's been an experience. And so when the meditation started, had been triggered, and so I got triggered with a good thing to get over, which was and then I couldn't even remember it, so I had to pause and before I was going to speak to try to remember it. And it was that I'm always to blame, and I will try anything to put myself in that bad place. I'll do, even if there isn't any cause for it, I will try to find it. And so I just noticed that, and then as I was meditating, I did feel a strong connection with this group, and I was able to just, I don't know, it just became one. I felt more at peace, because sadness also came up with that. So thank you.
Thank you, Esther. Glad you're here.
Hi everyone, I'm Sky. I'm currently in Nova Scotia, Canada. I don't come here often, but I'm glad to be here today. And thank you, Brian, for the beautiful meditation. Yeah, I was surrender. That's the thing that came up to me as well. Surrendering and being in a moment. That's what I've been struggling with. Not struggling, but kind of been in and out, even during meditations, which is totally okay. I'm just making it okay, and it is okay. It's kind of what I've noticed is during this meditation, it's that sort of control and vision, that control that my ego wants to have over things, and kind of just seeing it from another perspective a little bit, and be there for it, but not identify yourself with it. So that was a great thing for me that I've witnessed during this meditation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. That was very helpful. Your personal experience with it here, because the moment we feel that longing to let go, the mind wants to come right in and just say, no way, right? Like we can count on that, and it can be very sneaky and clever.
So I am Kent. I'm very hoarse, and you may not be able to hear me. Brian, I haven't seen you in a while, and I love the poetry that flows through your mouth.
Well, it comes through the heart, right? First.
So, I'm celebrating the end of a year in which I am one day away from being fully retired. So letting go has been a big theme for me for the whole year. I have a new form of meditation practice. Monday through Friday, I get on top of a table with an X-ray machine on it, and I put on a mask, which is a wire mask that covers my face and bolts me to a surface of a table. I can't even wiggle my nose or move my lips. And they say, "Are you okay?" And I have to say, because that's all I can do. But I'm getting daily radiation treatments for vocal cord cancer. And I'm 22 treatments complete and 6 more to go. And I'll probably be at my low point about 10 days after that. So speaking is a challenge. Swallowing has been a real challenge. So I've not had anything solid to eat for 2 weeks. So I'm living on liquids and smoothies. But I'm happy to celebrate the end of a year and anticipate the beginning of a new year. And healing is something that I pray for all of us.
Sending lots of love to you, Kent.
Yeah,
you.
for sure. Let's just take a moment and really shine the most gentle kind of energy, loving energy here, as opposed to that radiation, Kent. Like, wow. Anybody else want to share before we? I always hope there's someone else, because then if not, it's my turn. So my name is Brian. I'm in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And this whole letting go thing is real for me. Last night I was lying in bed, and I had a voice saying, I need to go to sleep to be ready to be with the group tomorrow. And I couldn't stop my mind. I tried everything I knew, every technique, every tool, right? And the mind just kind of laughed and said, I got you. You're mine. Wow, I started to feel some fear. I'm going to be up all night. I'll be a wreck tomorrow. I'll disappoint people. And finally, it came to me, and just to feel my longing moving through my heart. It's just that the mind just melted. Like, the mind can't understand longing. It doesn't know what to do with it. It's afraid of it. Yet that longing, as some of us hopefully got a taste of again today, is the most powerful force in the universe. It's a form of grace, really. It's a divine energy all on its own. And when we hear that word, we often want to know, well, what is the longing for? Well, our longing is at a much deeper level than anything, any one thing, any million things, right? It's like a tidal force moving through us. It's part of the life force. It's part of the cosmic pull. And yet, the beautiful thing about our longing is just allowing ourselves to feel it without trying to mentally dissect it or label it or categorize it. We already start to feel some fullness. The amazing thing about longing is when we let ourselves feel it, something gets met inside of us, right? So I appreciate everybody being here on New Year's Eve, a holiday, and lots of other things we could be doing. And what I wanted to say a few things about today is this curiosity I have, how in our culture we start a new year with promises to improve. Wow. What a tradition of never-ending pressure, right? So what we have a chance to create today is to fill together the end of the year with congratulations for all we've survived, right? All we've been through. each one of us as human beings, at some point, the struggle is immense and intense. Right? So what we do here is start the new year not with promises to improve, with an intention to be kinder to ourselves, to understand more deeply just how much we bear as humans on this treadmill of life. Right? And if we are to promise more together, let's pledge to rest, to slow down before our bodies force us. Let's commit to keep slowing down and just drink in life as it happens. Let's commit to let go of that layer of perfection and just reveal the flawed and amazing humanity each one of us is. So, we're here to help each other first recognize and then accept and tolerate that just because we're human, we're imperfect. Right? And on this path, we learn that is where the beauty lives, actually, is in our humanity, right? There's something by not being perfect that involves turning to something deeper than the duality of good or bad, perfect or imperfect, right? In that, when we do that, what happens is we actually come to peace within ourselves, right? And that's the one thing the world is just aching for, is more peace. And on this path, we know that peace is an inside job, right? Where the conflict that we see out there in the world is the sum total of the conflict inside each one of us. So what I invite us here to do in this beautiful time together is just to put down all we've been carrying in the past year. And to make room for what we did well. What we'd like to do even more well, right? And as Pam is modeling for us, to sit with our happiness, our anger, our pride, our tears, our grief, and just to give ourselves a hug for making it through, really. So the cultural norm is to make a resolution to change ourselves, right? And what we're doing here today is setting an intention to be ourselves. As Caroline Myss says, let go of how you thought your life should be and embrace the life that is trying to work its way into your consciousness. So let's just take a moment here and open things up and just see how this is landing in you so far, and where you're drawn to it, where you're noticing some resistance to it, or, because it's so ingrained in us. If you want to be a better person, you got to do something. Right? And also in the path work, The 258 lectures are full of things that we need to do. Right? And they're amazing, they're wonderful, they're helpful, they're revolutionary and evolutionary, yet what often gets overlooked in the sea of all these amazing tools of looking at ourselves is the guide is also saying, just let it all go. At the same time, right? The expression, right? The moving of the energy, the looking at ourselves, the digging through our wounding and our images and all that, and the impression, which is just slowing down and stopping, and now letting grace come in, right? Another way the guy talks about is mobility and relaxation, right? The mobility is all the doing, and the relaxation is just being that drop of water starting to move down the mountain, right? And connecting with other parts of ourselves. So let me just pause here and say, anybody want to say something or ask a question or express a doubt or skepticism? That's always welcome here, right? I'm waiting for somebody to say, Brian, that sounds great, but how do you do that?
Brian, that sounds great, but how do you do that?
Right. Thank you, Jan. Right. You notice that do word is in there too, right? How does letting go become another thing to do? No wonder I'm going crazy, right?
You were talking about the lectures, Brian, and I had made it a task to read all the lectures again, reread them.
Mm-hmm.
And today I am on 258, the last one.
Wow.
And it was kind of, great, accomplishment, but also now what do I do? Because,
Right.
every morning I would get up and have my coffee and read a lecture or half a lecture or whatever, depending on the day. So, yeah, it's a crossroads. But like you said, sometimes you have to pat yourself on the back and
Right. Yeah.
But but then there's, okay, what's next in the future?
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
And another thing I appreciate the technology because, we can still gather. People have COVID and, we have a guy doing radiation and we can still meet, which is a plus for this technology, which is something to be appreciated too, in my opinion.
Thank you, Jim. Someone else.
Hi, I'm Lori.
And I so appreciate it and still appreciate, and I'm still smiling about the laugh that you had when you were talking about, okay, there's that do word again. And that just opened me up. Your laughter just opened me up. And I thank you so much because, yeah, this is serious, but no, maybe it's not so serious. Maybe we need to laugh a little more. And that was beautiful. So thank you so much. Keep laughing.
Thank you, Pam. You were getting ready to speak.
Hi, I'm Lori. And this is very timely for me. I have spent the last week writing a mission statement for how I'm wanting to change my medical practice into a coaching practice where I teach people to line up with their own intuition and guidance to be their own doctors. And so I've been writing this mission statement, and I got it finished enough to send it out to a few colleagues for feedback, and they don't know what I'm talking about. So now I have all this self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm doubting my doubt.
Yeah.
Deal with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for the timeliness of your words, and appreciate them very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Wonderful to have you here.
But I appreciate the space to have the meditation, to be with what's as real
Mm-hmm.
as what we encounter in it every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to go to the place of the longing and the imagination and the direction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know, just that's as real as anything else.
Mm-hmm.
We just have to cultivate it.
Mm-hmm.
So good fertilizer today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's you're really being a model for us here. How the longing leads us towards something, and then we encounter the challenge and the difficulty, and we wonder, what am I doing here, right? And from that place of the mind, we can't figure it out, right? Yet coming back to the longing that brought us here, what brought you to this mission statement, I can feel it deep down in your heart and in your soul, right? This is a big deal for you, right? Your passion, your heart, your soul are in it, and that's utterly trustworthy. It's the most trustworthy thing there is our longing. It will never lead us astray, because it's not about anything that will mislead us, right? It's coming from something deeper than just our thoughts and our wants. Thank you. Someone else, before we move on, I just want to make sure that you're free to speak up, and you might not even know what you're going to say till you hear yourself say it. That's part of the beauty of being here together like this.
I just wanted to, sorry, go ahead, Frank.
You go ahead. Okay, well, I'll go. It occurs to me that the longing is what brought us here. Our soul was longing. And it was like longing so much that it's like, okay, I'll take on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Take on this human incarnation. Though it's going to be difficult. But my longing is so big. And in this process of this life, it's like every time we seem to conquer some longing, or we make peace with some longing, another longing comes up. It's like what we do over and over again. We're just longing along. Gotta love it, kind of gotta love it.
Longing along. I'm going to quote you on that, Frank. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. So the guide says something very interesting about our longing, which is we wouldn't have the longing if it wasn't something that's already ours, actually, right? That deep down, the longing that we're feeling is also the part of us that knows this is already in us.
You mean what we're longing for fundamentally?
What we're longing for, yeah.
Is already in us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while, longing isn't about any specific thing on the outer level, there are streams in our longing that really are about longing to be whole, longing to be connected, right? Longing to be connected with who we really are as human beings, spiritual beings in temporary human form, right? Longing to let go of any illusion of separation, right? Yet these are all parts of that vastness inside of us. That's why we use the word like longing, because it's inclusive of everything that's part of our deepest nature, right? And yet, I notice it's easy to say too much about it, and just invite you, close your eyes for a moment and just come back to that energy in the heart. It's like an electrical current. And it's easy to be afraid of it because it's so powerful. Yet it's utterly safe and trustworthy. And then gently coming back. So I want to say a few things about what Dan asked. How do we do it? How do we let go, right? Without it being something that we just are doing. Well, actually, the way we let go is just to stop doing everything else. And letting go is just a natural process that the longing carries us through, right? So primarily what's in the way, as we know, and as I was navigating last night, is the mind, right? And the mind is a wonderful servant and a terrible master, right? You could also use the word ego for mind, and so many spiritual paths view the ego as something to get rid of. And I was so struck when I came to the path work where the guide says, well, actually, the ego is a natural thing. It's a healthy thing when it's in service of the real self, the higher self, right? So letting go really involves disarming the outer ego, the mind, where it's busy trying to do it all by itself. Right? And the ego mind can't get itself out of its own trap. So we're really called to turn to it from our deeper self, our real self, our higher self. And all of that can sound somewhat vague and conceptual, yet that's where the longing comes in, right? Just to feel that longing for a moment. I long to let go. I long to feel what that's really like. So the most common thing that's in the way are expectations, right? Outer and inner. On the outer level, it starts when we're very young, right? Our family, our parents, they have expectations of us. Society has expectations. Our culture has expectations of us. Religion, morality, trying to be good, trying to be a good person is about meeting expectations, right? On one level. And we also have inner expectations of ourselves, coming from our idealized self-image, who we think we should be, right? To be a good person, to get approval, to be loved. There are also expectations coming from our inner critic. So I'm going to invite us to do a short guided experience together, and just take a moment and find a comfortable spot on your seat. Feel your feet on the floor. Close the eyes gently. Going inside and just stepping into that dimension. And with the active power of imagination, visualization, notice any disconnection that's inevitable as human being from the longing. Where did it go? Where is it now, right? And remembering something about it being somewhere, starting somewhere up the mountain. Okay. I'll go back up the mountain. And start going up the mountain, and you notice the path is pretty steep, and you notice you're carrying a lot of baggage. And the thought comes, I need to let some of this go. Some of this baggage I'm carrying. And it comes to you is to look at the expectations. You look at this family expectation and you see, wow, there's a lot here that I'm carrying. Take a moment and feel your own version of this lifelong family expectation. To let it go, we really need to see it, to feel it. Ask yourself, do I really need to carry this anymore? And for now, let a voice in you say, no, I'm going to just let it go here, and just feel it slip off your shoulders and lay it to the earth. The earth can hold it. Keep moving up the mountain, noticing a little bit more freedom, right? A little more lightness of being. And as you climb, you start to connect with the effort that this is taking, and wow, I'm still carrying some baggage here. You look at the expectation that society has of you. that you also imagine society has. Take a moment again and just notice, what's your unique version of this? What are my expectations coming from society, the way I have to be, look, think, act? And again, letting a part of you say, I can let this go here. And just lay it to the side and keep moving up the mountain. Once again, coming to a place where the effort that this takes is becoming more demanding, and realizing I'm still carrying some baggage here, still carrying some expectations. And you look and, oh, these are from my family. Oh my goodness. These are strong. Maybe I can't let these go. Maybe these are mine to carry forever. Feel a hand on your shoulder from your higher self saying, it's okay. I'm here with you. And really feel in now just what the spear point of this family expectation is. Be willing to feel it, to let it go. We can't let it go without really feeling it. And taking a fresh breath here and now, for now, just slipping those family expectations off your shoulders and just setting them down on the earth. Moving back up the mountain, really feeling now the freedom here. Wow, I've let a lot go. A layer at a time. I'm getting closer now where that longing is up there somewhere. And as the way gets steeper, you feel the effort that it's taking. You realize there's one more layer of expectations that I'm carrying, right? Oh my goodness. These are the expectations I have for myself. These are not easy to look at. They're so strong. We have some fear of them, right? Yet once again, feeling a hand on the shoulder from the higher self saying, it's okay, I'm here with you. It's okay to really look at my expectations for myself. I need to see them to let them go. Feel a voice inside you that says, I know they'll be back, yet I want to let them go now. I want to let them go here for now. I'm going to start here, letting them go here now. letting these expectations of ourself go down on the earth where the earth can hold them. And feeling whatever freedom is here, whatever lightness of being, at least for a few moments. I'm sitting down on the ground now, just to rest and breathe, to look at how far you've come. Oh my goodness. I started way down there. Feeling the earth holding you and supporting you. Feeling the sky overhead, shining down on you. And you hear something. What is that? And you listen again more carefully. It's the sound of running water. The stream. The floor is open.
I love how you've just brought us full circle. Back to the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you were asking the question about what can we do? And one thing I learned this year was to stop pushing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very good at pushing. I'm a human doing, and I get pleasure out of pushing myself. I'm really good at pushing other people, and it's so ingrained that it's part of who I am. So I just decided to stop pushing, and it's amazing how it's changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not exactly not doing, but it's simply not pushing, and being conscious of that. It's been very useful.
Thank you, Kent. You are a highly successful human doing. There's no doubt about that. And so your shift here really has credibility with me in a deep way. And it's a lot to let go. Right?
Hi, sorry for the background noise. I think shifting from human doing to human being is something that I will work on next year.
Mm-hmm.
The message I'm taking
Mm-hmm.
for me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brian, I really appreciate this exploration we just did, and I'm aware of societal, family, and especially internal, personal expectations about performance, about how to be in the world, how to do things perfectly, how to offer things perfectly, and it's all about doing. And I'm really appreciate the reminder about the power of longing and the power of letting go. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you very much. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you, Duncan.
Yeah, for me, that meditation was like without the expectations and the baggage, the longing was like something I could embrace.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it just felt like. The longing was a-okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Frank.
Thanks for that, Brian. I was pretty good. I can see how, like, really taking a focused awareness of what I think my expectations from my family are. I can really feel into that unwanted burden persona that I have been carrying for so long inside of me, and how the purpose for my life, I can never put myself at the center of my life because I have to justify this unwanted burden expectation that I have allowed myself to embody.
Mm-hmm.
And, Esther said at the beginning, it was really touching for me. She said that, I wrote it down, that she's always to blame. She always feels like she's always to blame. So this really helped me, Esther and the meditation and, the community helped me solidify how much I embody this unwanted burden expectation.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Judy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not really completely clear, but my sense is, my interior self, my expectations of myself, they seem so strong and so imperious. And I think the reason why I have them is because, there's a perception that there's something deeply wrong. And so there seems to be a part of me that in having this expectation, I guess, to improve or to be somebody that I'm not necessarily am, because of this part I feel is so wrong with me, that it isolates me. There's so much energy trying to hide, I guess, or fix, and not necessarily in a way that I do it so it doesn't reveal, my interior thoughts about myself, that it's extremely isolating.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing that's really important, because I think my longing is about belonging. I want to belong, but I think I feel I can't belong if I'm hiding some aspect of myself
Mm-hmm.
behind this constant striving.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
I found that going up the mountain, that my longing is like a mislonging, misplaced longing, I think, because in my family it was family togetherness, and so I held that value. But if you're not resonating with a family member, you know, in an upside down kind of way, you know, if you're like, you can become like the point of other people's misplaced angers or whatever. You know, if you are the one that's longing for family together and you have somebody that's not into it. I mean, they're maybe into it, but they'll take advantage of your longing for that, if that makes any sense. So for me, it was, don't long for family together. It's like, if it happens, it happens. But it's not something that I need to stay holding as this high value.
Yeah.
So thank you, Brian. That was really wonderful.
Thank you.
I have a hard time thinking.
Yeah.
So
That's.
I feel like, you know, we're overdue for all you've been doing.
So I want to say a few things yet. If you want to speak up, that comes first, right? Just start talking.
No, I just wanted to.
Please, Elisa.
Yes, I'm so grateful to you, Brian, for this and for the question how to let go, and giving us sort of indications and telling us that it can be also somewhat it can be also not too so difficult. I mean, it is possible. It is possible. I realized because by having moments like this, and I realized I'm longing for more moments like this. I can have them on my own. So thank you very much for this. And to the physician or to the person who was connecting from Toronto, I think, next to Duncan. Unfortunately, she has gone. But I just wanted to tell her, maybe Duncan can tell her that not to encourage her, not to get depressed or sad with the reaction of her colleagues, because it is so important that we get the doctors of ourselves. I mean, I'm speaking of from my own experience, and intuition. And intuition is the most important thing that we can do. So I really would like to encourage her from all my heart, and that this could be so in the whole world.
Thank you, Elisa. And sometimes our discouragement is actually helpful, right? Like it makes us go deeper. So the two things I wanted to share here. One is the value of seeing how many of our thoughts and emotions are simply expectations. And seeing where expectations come on so many different levels, right, of our thinking, our wounding, our personality. Because what the mind, the little ego wants to do is to shake us up with the content. And often it's very skillful at finding a certain piece of content that really gets us, hooks us, triggers us, right? And the beauty of really saying, oh, this is an expectation, just stop, without getting caught in trying to solve the expectation at the level of the content, right? that a lot of this is just the only thing the ego mind knows how to do left on its own is to push us along, right? It says, I'm here to help you. If I don't push you along, you won't get anything done, right? That's basically it. So, yet we just can't stop doing from this ego mind place, dealing with the expectations, because, you know, we've been doing it all our life. And this is where the second part comes in that's so important. The guide talks about this often, yet I don't find it really given the importance. The guide is really inviting us to consider it with, is to shift our identification to the spiritual self, right? When we're struggling, trying to deal with our life, right, with the onslaught of expectations, inner and outer, and so forth and so on, it's a sign we're mostly identified with our ego mind functioning. Yet, in order to shift our identification of the spiritual self, you see, we have to stop all that for just a few moments. And that's the miracle of it. Like, we only have to stop for a few seconds, actually. A few seconds, and then we go, oh, wow. And now the longing says, I want that, right? We're aligning now with our longing instead of with our strategy for dealing with life, basically. Yeah. So back to Dan and how do I do it? Well, the first thing is being really clear what's in the way. Right. What we've been diving into here, the expectations. And just going, those are just expectations. Just making that statement of truth disarms the illusion of the expectations. Because remember, the expectations are seizing on a specific thing. If you don't do this, then terrible things will happen, right? We get caught in believing it. So just going, oh, these are all expectations. I'm going to let them go for a moment. That's all I have to do. Okay, I can do that. I'm just going to sit here, let all my expectations go. Come to my heart, feel that longing flowing through me. Feel it gathering strength, just like we did in the beginning in our opening meditation, right? And all it takes is a few moments, and now I come back and I open my eyes, and now I'm informed from a deeper place in my being. This is the real self. Right? The real self is fully connected with the heart. The real self knows who it is, a spiritual being in temporary human form on a mission. And now the real self can turn to whatever it was we were struggling with just a few moments ago and saying, here's the place to seek understanding, right? But it's not coming from trying to figure it out, right? It's really trusting in this deeper part of ourself, the real self, the higher self, the inner knowing that always knows what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do, right? Now, for many of us, our wounding early in life has made us feel like this is something other people have, but we don't have. There's something wrong with us, right? And yet, you know, that's really basically an illusion. Each one of us here has everything any other human being has. Right? Each one of us each one of us is a spiritual being in human form that brought everything from the spiritual realm into this incarnation that's needed. And what we've been holding today is, how can I slow down and let go and stop doing? And what we're considering is really seeing that it's pretty much 99% the expectations that are in the way. And that when we recognize them and just put them down temporarily for a few moments, the spiritual self, it just comes in. It's been waiting. Right? And you notice I didn't do anything other than put something down, my expectations down, right? And just be willing to stop for a few moments. You know, I say for a few moments, one of the teachers that I follow, Papa J, and he says, half a second, just stop for half a second. I love how accessible that is, right? And, you know, Duncan, I have great respect for people who've been on a rigorous meditation practice, right? I'm a failed meditator. You've heard me say that before, those of you that have been here, right? So just to know it just takes a few heartbeats to shift. So, you know, part of it is just asking yourself, like, what does that mean for me that I'm a spiritual being in a human form, right? Like, how can I cultivate that experience, right? It doesn't help just to know it mentally, right? Because when the mind starts chewing on us, and the guilt and the shame and all the other defenses against that, the thoughts and the emotions start battling with each other, right? We need a different experience at a deeper level to bring to that struggle. And really, again, all it takes is just stopping for a few moments, stopping everything. Just turn everything off. If you pay attention, if you notice, as soon as you do that, you already start to feel a shift. And you know, remember, the mind is afraid of this letting go. It'll get in there and go, oh, you can't do that. That's not for you. It's for other people, et cetera, et cetera. Yet, that's just going, okay, that's just another expectation. Right? So that's a lot of words. Thank you for your patience with me. Yet, this is really most cherished to me because it's my day-to-day struggle. Right? And I just want to share the joy of feeling free for a few moments at a time. Like, you know, that's it, baby. You know, because then the longing comes in. Like, I'm longing for that, right? What did I do? Oh yeah, I went back up the mountain looking for that stream. I kept taking off that baggage I was carrying, one piece at a time, right? What baggage have I let go here of expectations? Or what's left? Right? So we have a few moments, and I just want to listen and see who's holding a piece for all of us here, and like, who's a voice in the room for all of us.
Oh, there's something rattling around in my head now that Duncan's partner is back. I think that medical colleagues would be the last person to understand your mission statement, because MD stands for medical deity. You're the deity. Letting someone else be the deity.
Yeah.
Share it with spiritual people, share it with ordinary people, but don't share it with medical deities.
Thank you, Kent. That's a highly informed perspective.
I was going to make a comment about it too. My son's a doctor, and he says that his patients usually won't follow his instructions. And so I thought, well, wow, I'm sure a lot of doctors complain about that. So having teaching patients how to be intuitive about their health would maybe help them to discuss following the directions or not following the directions. Anyway, I thought it was a great idea. I hope you have success, even if there's a lot of obstacles.
Thank you.
I like to chime in too. I'm laughing at myself because I could not focus on the meditation at all, although I could tell it was a beautiful one and I want to hear the recording. I couldn't focus on it because I had the longing to speak to you. I think your name is Wanda. And I didn't, because I had the expectation that it would be considered crosstalk, and everybody else started speaking up, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is interesting, because I totally wasn't able to focus because of my longing that I didn't follow. And so I know we're at time. I would love to connect with you. I am a health coach, and I would love to let you know what I know from my perspective. So if you stay on afterwards, I'll give you and you're interested, I'll give you my contact information. But this was quite the learning for me in a very interesting way. So thank you.
Thank you, Kay. So we're going to have our coffee and donuts in a couple of minutes. If you want to stick around just for some social sharing for 15 minutes. Yet as we come in for a landing here, I invite you to go back inside and just check in on the heart. The longing that we've been calling on. Whatever way you can connect with it, and just feel it. That's all we have to do is feel it. It will carry us. It will lead us. It will guide us. All we have to do is say yes. And hear a voice coming from the longing. A voice that seems so familiar, and it's saying, I'm here with you. I'm here with you. And opening your eyes and taking yourself off mute, and really bringing your hands and really bringing that energy. I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
Here with you.
I'm here with you.
I'm here with you.
With you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad to be here with you. Yeah.
Here with you, and so glad.
Thank you, everybody. Great to have you. And you're beautiful, and I love you.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian.
You too, Brian.
Thank you.